everybody. I'm Katie Arroyo.
And I'm Laura Manasowich.
And this is Pinky Promise, a podcast about growing up. And we did it, ladies.
Yeah. Look at us recording and hearing each other.
Pressing buttons, listening.
I feel like I've accomplished something today.
Yeah. Definitely.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
We just love it. Yeah. Well, we're super excited. We have comedian and podcaster Sarah Garner here. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, ladies. It's so good to be here. Thank you.
Yay.
As usual, we had minor tech issues before recording this, so we were just celebrating each other's presence. What a treat.
If they're minor, they're pretty much non-existent for us. It only counts if it's a catastrophe.
Right? I've already forgotten.
Perfect.
Nothing happened.
Great. Yeah, so this week we're going to be talking about cliques. And Laura, were you in a clique?
I feel like, okay, if you have friends, is that a clique? Or does it have to be? Because yes, if so, yes. But I don't we didn't have like a cool name or jackets or anything. It was just like, these are my friends. We weren't particularly mean or nice or nerdy. We were just who we were.
We definitely had a group of friends that I would say was a clique in the way of like, we did hang out with tons of other people too, but like if you asked any one of us like who were you friends with, it would be that clique where we knew that we were like always doing stuff together. And my sister was in a clique, I would say, so much so it was like a group of all these like babelicious girls, and they were called the Fine Nine, and they like
wow.
And then my friends were like the antithesis of that, where we were like, we crushed beer cans on our foreheads. Like, we beat everyone in flip cup and asshole.
Oh God.
But
name.
It had a
so
name.
Intense.
Yeah. And they deny that they gave it to themselves, but I feel like they gave it to themselves. It was leaked by one of the nine.
If it wasn't written for a teen movie, you gave it to yourself.
Yeah. Our like base clique had 4 people, so we would have had to be like the whore fours or the 4 whores. So like we couldn't do that.
No. That one I could see being given, not to you personally.
You're like, that name I could see being earned.
I could see high schoolers coming up with that on their own more so than the Fine Nine, but you know.
Yeah, it was a lifestyle. They were all so pretty, and like one was super super pretty. She ended up like getting a Fine Nine license plate, like that was her license plate. It was like truly a lifestyle.
I feel like with a name like the Fine Nine, like that's not a name that other people give you. You know, like that's a name that you give yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Even if you are that hot, you don't nobody else calls you. Nobody else wants to call you that hot. You know, like you're the ones who are like, we are very hot. You know?
I think it's like when I wanted my name to be Kat, but I was like not bold enough to be like, I'm Kat. So I'd be like, you know what would be crazy was if my nickname was Kat. nobody took it and ran with it. So I was like, I'll just be the 5th Katie. That's fine.
No, I think the closest became, I worked at a pizza restaurant, and like 2 of my friends would often sleep over on the weekends after work. And so my parents called us the Pizza Babes. So I guess the closest I came to being in a named clique came from my parents.
I think that's the closest I am to being in a clique now, is being a pizza babe. That's like my life now. I'm going to go eat some pizza after this. So I think that constitutes me being a pizza babe.
My boyfriend and I are in one of those cliques. We're in that clique with our local pizzeria right around the corner, and he likes to order wings. And he was like,
"Oh, he's a wing boy.
He's a wing boy." We're pizza pals.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah. Boy.
So, Sarah, you were in a clique. I'm guessing.
Yes, I was in a clique, and we had a name that I'm pretty sure we gave to ourselves because it is like a nice name.
Yeah, any nice names. Like, I feel like no one gives someone like a nice name. Like no one's like, you guys are like the super angel princess babes.
Right? It's like, well, and so we actually, so my clique, I'm 33 years old and I guess I'm still a member of it. So I don't know if that says anything about me. But we've been friends since middle school. We met like elementary school, middle school.
Yeah.
And we're still friends. And so I told them I was doing this podcast tonight and they spent the group chat blew the F up. Like I took a nap today. I woke up to 49 text messages of like shit that we did in middle school and high school that they wanted me to talk about on this podcast. So
they were like, this is not about cliques. This is just about how we're cool.
Sarah, represent
that
us.
time we stuffed you in the trunk of Amanda's car and we drove to Myers. You remember that, Sarah? That was so cool. Oh God, I'm like refreshing ready. But so our name, I'm saying that because there was some dispute in the chat today about whether we gave ourselves our name or whether the name was given to us. And you tell me when you hear this name, there's 6 of us.
Okay.
And we called ourselves the Elite 6.
Oh.
I feel like the calls come from inside the house with that name.
Yeah,
that's like what happens when honor students find friends, you know? They're like, yes, I'm the Elite 6. Right? Like, what the fuck? It's like the Ivy League of like high school.
Like little gymnasts.
Like, yeah, I pictured gymnasts or you guys like met in an SAT prep course and you were like, we're all going to MIT.
Pretty much, yeah. I remember we tried to change our name once because again, there was more dispute about this in the group chat today, where we were like, well, we weren't really a clique. We were like nice to people. And I was like, but we did not, like, we had friends outside of the clique, but we were not holding like fall recruitment. You know what I mean?
Like that was the group and that was
There was no open house for new members.
Yeah.
No, like you could be on the periphery and watch us in action.
We could know you, but you couldn't really know us.
My friends were like, we were very tight, and then within that circle there were some that were like super, super popular, and then everyone was at like a certain base of popularity. But within that clique, other people were like super popular and some people were more like sporty and, you know, whatever. But I remember I ended up dating someone after high school. And I was in AP classes. So I had like different friends. I had like my AP friends and then I had my clique and then I had like my field hockey friends. And I ended up dating someone whose cousin was like in my AP classes. And you know how you remember how you behave, but you're like, I hope everyone else was nice too. So like, I remember the cousin apparently was like, oh, I do know Katie. And it was like a huge, very close family. So it was like a huge family dinner apparently that I was not at. And the cousin was like, oh, I know Katie. She was in a clique. Some of them were bitches, but Katie was nice. And I was like, thank God.
That's so nice. You made it, baby.
It's like, woo, that could have gone another way.
Wait, hang on. I'm also impressed that you were a popular girl. You were a popular girl?
We were like, I was friends with some super popular people, and then I think I just like made friends with every group that I was around, so that in turn made it so that like I would know a lot of people, because I'd be like, oh, I know all of my AP friends, and then these are my drinking buddies, and these are the senior guys that we drink with that drive us places, and these are my field hockey friends. I'm not good at field hockey, but I organize team sleepovers.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like, I'm not surprised. Like, you're very pretty. Like, you seem like you would make the cut to me, but like, I never made it.
What so you know what I mean? This podcast is about how nobody sees themselves as they are. You're like, here I am. I'm just a little troll, but thanks for letting me be here.
Somebody sent me a TikTok today that was like, did people have crushes on you in school growing up, or are you funny now? And I was like,
That's
the latter.
I had like a very I looked more ethnic than I do now because now I never see the sun. So like in high school, I was very dark and my hair was long and curly. So my friend who looked like we would look like we used to say we were like, whatever you're into, we got ya, because she was like blonde hair, blue eyes, like just long, straight, like wavy hair. And then I was like big, curly black hair and like very tan skin. And I had like an eyebrow problem where they got very thin and then they got thicker. Like they were just doing whatever they wanted. And my friend would be like, guys are either like bananas over you or they're just like, I don't know what that is. There was no in between. Yeah, there was no just like, she's fine.
That's so funny. I looked like a child in high school, so I had a very specific demographic, let's say.
Yeah, I looked this age. I looked, I think I looked like, once we hit 15 or so, I just looked 20. And then that was it. And there was never like I think because I have like a bitchy face too, so I would just be like...
That's really all you need to be popular, actually.
I think so.
Yeah. I looked like a 40-year-old who looked great for her age. My hair never knew it could go past my ears until I got to college and my mom wasn't managing my haircuts anymore. And like... This was a little professional my whole life, and now I feel like I'm like, can I be 23? Can I look like that?
You had like eternal soccer mom vibes happening.
God. If a pleated pant looked at me, it would be fucking over. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like pleated pants could be coming in at any minute now, and
I wanted a pleated skirt so bad. Like that to me, it didn't get cuter than a pleated skirt, and I would try them on in Marshalls regularly, and like thankfully, it never happened for me.
I started playing field hockey because my friend and I were like, all right, well, we have to do a sport, and field hockey and lacrosse got to wear kilts. And they were plaid little skirts, and we wore the shit out of those kilts. Like, we were like, anytime we had a game, it was like, you could dress up, and we'd be like, or wear our kilts.
Hey, look, it was the time of Britney Spears. It was the time of Baby One More Time. We all wanted those plaid pleated skirts. Like, I'm not Catholic. Never wanted to be Catholic. My parents don't believe in God, but I was like, I would go to Catholic school just for that uniform.
Just for the kills.
That seems right. So in the group chat today, one of the subjects we talked about were the clothes that my friend Amanda's mom bought her that like ruined her life. So like she had some jeans with like panda patches.
Oh no, Amanda's mom, why?
And she's like, my mom stands by those jeans to this day. She says they were cute, and I'm sure they were, you know. But Amanda was 12, and you know. Poor not Amanda. A great time for anybody.
No.
No one thrives at 12.
No
one. I had buck teeth, and I also had an eyebrow problem. It was the early aughts. You know what I mean? Like, that's bad for all of us.
I had really thick eyebrows, and I wore a lot of blue lipstick and fishnets and combat boots, and I really loved Tori Amos, and no one was going to tell me otherwise.
You had so many feelings.
A lot of feelings. I was real mad about everything. I remember my friend was like, we had been talking about getting our eyebrows pierced. Like I had like my cool, gorgeous friend was like, I'm gonna she's like talking about getting her eyebrow pierced. So later she sent me a message. She called me and she was like, do you want to go like get our eyebrows done? And I think she was trying to be nice, like, you need to start waxing your eyebrows. And I thought she meant piercing them, and I was like, well, like, which one? And she goes, both of them. And then I was like, oh, I don't think my mom would let me do that. And she was like, she's not going to let you get your eyebrows done. And I was like, she's really strict, real bitch, just like, woof.
Don't understand what you're talking about. Gonna blame my mom. 100%.
Yeah, and then I literally hung the phone up and I was like, oh my God, she meant get them waxed. But I like could never, I couldn't, like, I had so much like social anxiety. I think now I realize that I was just like, well, I'm not going to call her back and be like, this was all a misunderstanding. Please fix my eyebrows. I was like, now I have to wait like 6 more months with these eyebrows.
Till she forgets, and then maybe
we'll bring it up again. So you guys were like a clique from the time you were really young. Did you guys, did your school have popular cliques or not popular, or was everyone just kind of the same but in different groups?
We definitely had popular kids, and we were not them at all. It's kind of funny when we were talking today. I actually think like being in this kind of weird, like I think we were well liked. People liked us, but we were weird. I mean, still to this day, we're bizarre. And I think it kind of, you can feel really crappy about not being popular in high school. Of course, I think everybody feels that way. But I feel like having this weird clique shielded me from that a little bit, because we had friends, we were well liked, but I had my group, and we were weirdos, and the popular girls didn't bother with us much because they thought we were inconsequential, which is
probably to your benefit. Yeah. Honestly, in high school, probably to your benefit.
Yeah. We just kind of flew under the weird radar. Everyone kind of thought we were lesbians, and only 2 of us turned out to be. You know what I mean? So it's great.
Our school was so big that there was room for like 3 to 4 big popular cliques to exist. So you could just like, there was no like I couldn't tell you who like the queen of my school was or the queen of my grade, because we were so huge that there was just like, there was no way you could master that amount of people. So it worked out to everyone's advantage, or to a lot of people's advantage, I would say, where you could find your clique in that school and then be fine. But of course there were kids who were bullied in like every school, but I think because it was so big, as long as you like found your people, I think you were okay. And then it worked out if you had like a falling out with a group of friends, then you could kind of move to this other group of friends or whatever. And our clique was just so across so many different things that I think it made us all just be like friends with so many different people. Because my friend was a cheerleader, and so I'd be like, well, we make fun of the cheerleaders, but I guess we'll hang out with them. Like our field hockey team makes fun of the cheerleaders, but we'll hang out with them. And then one of my friends was into drama, so she was like, well, the drama people are coming, to whatever party. And I do remember one night my parents were gone, and I had this massive, massive party at my house. And my friend and I were like, we were just sitting there and we were looking around and we were dying laughing. And we were like, holy shit, you're having a token movie party right now. And there is every token group. I was like, look, there's the stoner BMX guys. There's the football guys. There's the lacrosse guys. There's token black guy dancing. There's like these people. There's like, weird girl, there's this person. And I was like, I love this, we have every person. Like we have every group at our party, this is amazing. And I think it was just because we were so all so different from each other, I think that it worked out that we had like all different friends. So I know go ahead.
I was gonna say, like in our school, band was very popular in a way that like pop culture taught us that it wasn't, but like band had really cool kids in it, and I didn't play an instrument, and I was like, you mean to tell me like this is gonna work against me? But I knew enough band friends that I could I got friends in band, like that was fine. But I true, like to your point of like having all the different folks at your party, like I think being a student council nerd early adult like helped me know kids because my classes were isolated. I only had classes with the same number of people who were my friends, but like student council let me know kids who played sports, kids who were in other classes or on different teams or whatever. And so that was how I felt like, oh, okay, like I'm not friends with everybody in this school, but I have like I know people who
from
do this
everything.
and this and this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus,
yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say our school was so like we're from upstate New York, so we were so like, it was as diverse as it could be. But like I do have a joke where I'm like, I'm some people's one black friend because they're like, you're the darkest thing that we've seen. Like what is this? Dude? Like it was wild to go to like I don't know how much this has to do with cliques, but like everyone in our group was so different from each other and their life experiences were so different. Like one of them was raised by like different family members. One of them was from like a perfect 2-parent household. The other one, like whatever. But I was like, I think because I was one of the more diverse people in our school, it made it like easier to talk to different people, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, our school was like, there were so many people, but there were so many white kids. Like, it was just such a weird experience going to another city where you're like, oh, I don't have to spell my last name like where I would in high school. You know what I mean? Like that was a big thing. I'd be like, this is how you pronounce it, guys. It's like not that hard.
Yeah. We were a very white school also in Ohio.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, not a surprise.
Yeah.
But we weren't that big of a school. And I think it did have the same effect, Katie, like you were saying, where everybody kind of knew each other from, or a lot of people knew each other from elementary school on. And so you knew the same people year after year after year after year. And so it did kind of mean that like you were kind of cool with everybody. There was bullying, of course, as there is always. And I think to some degree I didn't really see it because I was like sheltered by my clique. But I think it's like everybody kind of found their little place and I don't remember fights in the hallways. I don't remember like big drama. I also maybe am not super social aware. Like maybe I just didn't know what was going on, but like I don't really remember like a ton of like just drama. There were girls that were rich and they definitely walked around like they were very rich. But I don't remember the cattiness that you see in movies about people's high school experience. Like I don't really remember that in pockets, I guess. But I don't remember it in the same way that it's like depicted as I should have hated high school. I should have like I was in orchestra, I was in choir, I was in drama, I was an athlete, but like not that great at it. I was a weirdo. Like I was smaller than everyone else. I should have not loved high school, and I didn't mind it.
Yeah. I feel the same way where I'm like, I know people had terrible experiences, but mine were just like, I had a lot of the same anxieties that other people had and same experiences, but I think in part because of I had that tight group of friends where you just kind of like always knew that you were going to have, if someone didn't ask you to the dance, plus I was so just like, fuck all those guys are so stupid. Like I was, which I think probably I was just like preparing to hate high school. So I was like, if you didn't have like a date to a dance, then you had 4 girls that you went with. And then I think having that confidence made it so that you got asked to a lot of dances. Like, I'm like, I think high school should have sucked. I don't think it should be people's best time of their lives. But for me, I'm like, oh, it wasn't that bad. But like, I recognize that it could be that bad for other people.
Yeah. I feel like there was a lot of I mean, shit like buying a carnation for someone for Valentine's Day, like that I think used to like get in my head of like,
how many are you gonna get?
If I get none, how embarrassing will that be? It'll also be fine if you don't get any, like, cool your shit. But like as far as dances and stuff, like,
but if I could get like 5,
but if I could get like 5, it would be the best day. But if I get none, I mean, surely there's still value in me.
Then I'll just go kill myself.
NPD.
But like dances, like any of my proms, like I did all the asking, which I think we've talked about. Like there was not an option to not go because I loved a dance. And if it was like a regular dance, it was like, I don't need a date. I don't care about this. But if it was the prom, I was like, well, I will take matters into my own hands. I'm not going to rely on any of these little turds to ask me. So I'm going to make my own plans so that this night can go the way I want it to, which I was like so telling as to how my adult life has gone. But
an early feminist.
But I wasn't. Yeah. I just like wasn't going to not have fun because this thing. I don't know if I also was like, no boy's going to ask you, and which is like also like a likelihood where it was like get in front of the problem so that it doesn't become one. But I also felt like I knew enough people who would be cool with it that it wasn't like, there goes Laura trying to be everybody's boss again. Because I don't think it is that. I think it was just like, make sure you have fun, you know?
Yeah. Just, well, there's something about wanting the control. I hated waiting to be asked to something. And then, like, somebody would ask me and I would go and I would want to hang out with my friends anyway. And so it's like, what's the point? I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
I want to get a nice dress and go, like, party with my friends, which I still feel that way about weddings, you know, any event.
I think I felt that same way. And I think the other thing was having our clique. It made it so that if like someone was dating someone, then you would just be like, oh, you know what? Their guy friend is cool. And it was kind of like for some of that stuff, you didn't even need to bother worrying about who was going to ask because you were just like, I flirt with that guy at parties. Like, we're just going to go together and not like, which is probably telling of my future. But I feel like we just had like you had like clique. And the other thing was too, my friend had an older brother. And so that right there was like always a group of guys. And because they were older, they were always like protective of us, where they were like, no guy is going to be like a dick to you because you have these like group of older brother type guys that you spend all this time with over the summer. So like in school, they're cool. So like you got coolness by proximity. And then you like people were less likely to be a dick to you. Plus I had a super big mouth. So like any guy that was like a dick to my friend, I remember I made a guy cry at a party because he was rude to my friend. And I was like, I'm going to break him down. Like, I was like, I'm going to break this guy's spirit until he cries. And then I was like, now you need to go apologize to my friend. And I was like the Godfather, where like me and my friend were just like, we're going to make this little bitch cry until he feels bad for being like, I think it was like a dance situation where he like said he was going to go to a dance and then he like bailed, but it made it like embarrassing for her. And I never wanted to worry about that. So for dances, I always was just like, I'll go to I went to like a lot of dances that were like, I went to junior prom when I was a sophomore and like senior when I was a junior and stuff like that, because those weren't my dance. So I was like, if it doesn't go well, I don't really care. Like, it's not my dance, which made it easier too, I think, to not care. But then, like, yeah, mostly we just were like, our girlfriends were like, we're going in this group. So, like, any guy that comes with us is going to come into our group. And that's what's going to happen.
I love that. I like, this is so funny because I feel like I was so excited to talk about cliques because I think that I mean, like I said, I talk to them still every single day. This is more than 20 years later.
Yeah.
After we met and have been friends, I still talk to them every day. They're like texting me as we speak right now.
They're like, don't forget to talk about this story.
I mean, like, they haven't asked about how the podcast is going, so fuck them. But
looking for a new clique.
But I do think it's funny how much it's really, I think, showed me the value of female friendship early. Like, I think there are a lot of ways I could have turned out, and I'm not saying I turned out great, but like I turned out functional because of that clique.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way we talk about cliques so often is like they're harmful and they're like exclusionary, and I think that's just like a way to devalue female friendship. Like, that's just a way to make women's friendships not as worthy. And so I I appreciate my clique. I
agree with you. And I feel like I had my best friend in the clique, or like, I guess we always like rotated who was super close when, but one of our friends that was in that clique was so shy and like so sweet, and just like she loved Nicholas Sparks books, and like she would be the type to like, it would ruin her day if like she didn't get someone to ask her to go to this dance, or if she didn't think that she looked good at this party or this dance, like if she didn't like her dress that day. So there was a lot of like the tougher girls, which was like me and my other friend. We were like the alphas, as far as we would be like, no, you look fucking hot, get out there, you look like a model, like he's lucky to be with you. And we're like slapping their butts like, now get in there and you're gonna dance, and like you're gonna wear this costume because you look so good. And I'm like, so I feel like we like hyped each other in a way that protected us from the outside, where whether we felt that truly inside or not, we definitely were like, we don't need any guy because we're so cool. Like we were like, we're so cool and we have so much fun that like if some guy comes in here and like messes up our fun, we're gonna kill him. Like, it made it so that you just like didn't have to worry about that, because we were like, Valentine's, like we didn't even know what Valentine's Day was, but we were like, I'm your Valentine. Like I'm gonna get you all this shit or whatever. Like we're gonna go out to a fancy dinner together with our $30 weekly paycheck. Like, I feel like it is funny because I'll say that brainwashing definitely even worked on me, because when you said cliques, I was like, ooh, I wonder if people were like mean to her or like so I still think cliques in a negative way, but then as I started thinking about my clique, I was like, no, they were just like a cool gang of girlfriends that made life bearable.
And truly, the three people from home who I would say I still talk to, or would still like, are like the three first friends I made in middle school. And it was like, yep, you got, okay, I got my back, or I got your back, you got mine forever. Great. Okay. All right.
Perfect. Let's do this.
Very nice.
Like, being a middle school girl means feeling like an outsider, feeling like shit, feeling like you don't like belong in your body, literally all the time. I think being anybody in middle school, I can't speak to being a middle school boy, also sounds terrible. I don't know, fluids come out of you. It's like very traumatizing for everybody. Just middle school is like, I wouldn't wish middle school on my worst enemy, you know? It's just a traumatizing time. And so I think you're just craving like someone to be like, hey, you're a weirdo, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Like I'll stick around for a little bit. And then I think, you're right, Laura. It's like that stays forever. Like you don't care after that. You're like, you saw me through the eyebrow period.
Yeah.
All right. You saw me
and the mustache.
I mean, look, I think anybody who knew me before I grew into my teeth I need to keep close for the rest of my life.
Yeah. What's some more hot goss in your group chat?
Oh God. Let me pull it out. They won't shut up. They're so okay.
You're like, they're still going.
I swear to God, they're still going. Let's see. There were some cute quotes. They wanted me to talk about the panda pants that Amanda had, which I already spoke about.
Very controversial.
Did she get bullied for the panda pants, or did she just not like them?
She says she said that they ruined her middle school experience. I think that's a little dramatic. I'm trying to find where she said. Oh, she says, my mother still defends the panda jeans she bought me. I almost told her she ruined my junior high life, and she still claims they were cute to this day.
Love it.
Oh God. We talked about the time that we drove around the neighborhood. So we lived like, where we grew up was not very big in Ohio, and it was like everybody lived in one neighborhood or like a neighborhood over. And so we drove around one night around Christmas and took everybody's Christmas reindeers and made them hump each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
And then my friend Raquel's stepdad, like, the next morning was like, this is so funny. Like, did you see all the deer around the neighborhood? They're all like humping each other. And Raquel said, she goes, yeah, we did that last night. And he's like, he got really mad.
He's like, not funny, actually.
Only funny if the delinquent is not living in my home.
We used to do, my clique would do a lot of pool hopping. We were like super into that. And we would we'd pool hop, and then so you had to be agile to be in this group, I think, because we would be in the pool, and then at some point, no matter what, the other, like every single person except one person would just know that we were going to do this, and we would like count to 3, and then we'd be like, wah, in the pool, and everyone knew that they were going to do that, and then they would book it out of the pool, but the other person that didn't know would be like stuck in someone's yard when the lights turned on. And then one time we got caught, and like someone called the police, I think. So we like ran through the neighborhood and back to my friend's house, and her mom knew what we were doing, and she gave us all bathrobes and towels so we could pretend like we just got done doing a spa day. And so we like sat in the house ready for the police to come. And I was so good at hopping fences. Like our clique did like bridge jumping and pool hopping, and my friend had an old jet ski, and we acted like we had a yacht. Like we took that thing out like it was our yacht. We took that out like 4 times a week, and we would just cruise around on our jet ski and pool hop and climb mountains and hop fences and jump off bridges.
I am so glad we met as adults, because like high school middle manager Laura would have been like, these kids, or they got no future with this behavior.
Truly.
You would be talking to HR so fast.
Yeah, I would. I'd take out my walkie-talkie that went directly to the teacher's lounge. It was like, you guys gotta hear this.
Laura would have been the one left in the pool. Like, I fucking hate all
the one time I tried to like live a little, I would be pool kid. I'd be like,
you didn't do any stupid shit in high school?
I mean, so I did.
She's like, one time I turned a homework assignment in late.
it was a little late. No, I did like, so my school friends were like what you would say were like good kids, and my work friends were also good kids. But my work friends partied. So I would do my underage drinking and whatever with those guys, and then like come to school and be like, I don't really have anyone to talk about this with, because nobody here thinks it's fun if I like went drinking this weekend.
Did you have like a Freaks and Geeks moment where you were like, I'm torn between these two like lives?
No, because they didn't, like, the work friends didn't, most of them didn't go to my school.
Okay.
So like my very tight girlfriends from work, I would really only see on the weekends, and then we would spend all weekend together.
Okay.
So that like developed into like its own sisterhood thing, and then like school friends were like a different version of ride or die. They were like the behavior ones. They were like, if you went to that birthday party, the parents were there. Yeah. You know. So I did but I like learned to balance it. Like when I got to college, I think my mom was like, well, you didn't really like drink early, and I was like, oh, interesting that's what you think. And she was like, what? And I was like, all right, well, have a safe ride back home. About it now. So I did stupid shit, but it was like in what I deemed to, like, whatever I compartmentalized to be like, this is where we do this, and then here we're little adults. So I was still mostly a nerdy good kid, but
nerds can party.
Nerds can do anything. Yeah.
The stupid shit that we did was, we were actually just talking about this today, was largely sober. Like, we didn't start drinking as a group until like maybe senior year of high school, and it was always Natty Light. because it was Ohio. I don't know if y'all had that.
Ours, no, we had Labatt's Blue. We did have Natty.
Very Canadian.
We had Labatt's Blue. But we were huge fans of the Natty. We liked Natty Ice.
But like largely, we used to steal traffic cones, but we did it sober.
Yes. So I had a lot of traffic material that my mom is like, what are we supposed to do with this? And I'd be like, I don't know. But the thrill was, can we get it?
Yeah. We like to steal things out of the Wegmans display, which Wegmans is like a grocery store chain. And so I think one of my friends still has like a cowboy hat that we stole from the display. And then we thought we'd be really cool and like wear it all around the store. And we did drink really early. I would say, well, not really early, like some people, but we were drinking at like 14 or 15. Like we had one of the girls in our clique, she lived with her grandmother, and her grandmother had this boyfriend that she would like go on these dates with. And so we'd all be like, oh yeah, we're just staying at Grandma Judy's house, and to our parents, but our parents don't know that Grandma Judy has a boyfriend named John, and she goes and spends the night at John's house. And so we would just get so drunk all the time there, and that was like our base of like, we'd get picked up there to go to parties or whatever, or just have the parties there. And I remember one spring, which is probably like the first year we really started drinking, the snow melted, and all the bottles that we had thrown in the snow, like in the yard, were just like sitting there. And we had put bottles in so many places in that home that when her grandmother moved, they were like moving a piano, and like vodka bottles like rolled out of the piano, and like they were in the stove. Like we thought we were so good at hiding these bottles, but really her grandma just had dementia. And we were like, we loved her, and we would take her with us to like egg the school. Like we took her grandma like all these places with us. And we were just like, Laura's like not impressed.
Grandma Judy's living it. She was
living.
She's getting nailed all the time. By John, right? Like very active sex life for Grandma Judy. Very active social life with her friends. Like, way to go, Grandma Judy. I hope we all, less of the teen delinquency, but like more Grandma Judy for sure.
Yeah, right.
We were, our
we used to do, they had like the senior citizens prom at our school every year. And so they would like bring in senior citizens. I don't know if they were like brought in from a place or if it was just like old people who wanted to party, but they would like teach the kids how to ballroom dance so that we could
God,
dance with these people, which was like always so like, I gotta put on a prom dress and dance with an old man. And like leading up to it, you were like, we're gonna like make people so happy tonight. And then you'd be there and you'd be like, I'd really just like to dance with the boy in my class instead of an 86-year-old man who's a little, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know. But
who organized this? It sounds like a movie event. Like that sounds like a made up movie. Like they'd be like, well, we've got to see the grandpa proms coming up.
It was really cute because like the older couples would like dance together, and like I'm sure we had like a terrible spaghetti dinner or whatever, but like, it was like a fun night. And then they'd be like, now Laura, go dance with the old people. And that part was like, I can't.
I don't know. I just feel like, that was in the early, I imagine it was in like the early aughts for you. Yeah, that shit would never.
No.
Like now we know old men are creepy.
Yeah,
and we wouldn't maybe subject. That just feels like such a like innocence of like before the recession.
Yes, There's no world now where we pair an old man with like a hot young girl. We're like, hey.
We're like, we've seen how this ends 1,000 times, and now we're just listening, right? Like we weren't before. Yeah. But now we learned, guys, free Britney. We get it.
We're like, those guys have to work now. It was Connecticut. So.
That does sound like a very Connecticut situation.
It's so funny. It just seems like such a cute event that like in reality you're like, what are you doing?
I'm sure they were all very nice. But like
sure, I'm sure most of them were. I don't for a second believe someone didn't get a butt squoze.
Oh, absolutely.
Boy or girl, because old ladies are just as frisky.
Yeah.
So
old ladies are the friskier. I feel like with age you just get friskier, you know?
Yeah.
That's the trajectory.
We have a friend who his dad is like in this like great cover band that's super fun to go watch play, and we were out one night and like this I think my friend who is our age knew this woman who was older, like I think it was a family friend, but he is like so cute and charming and good looking that he is just like a magnet for fresh ladies who are like, come here, and I'm like, I do feel awful that your butt gets squoze so many times, but welcome to this reality.
Right, they're like, I was a secretary in 1962 and so this is like payback. Baby.
I'm paying it forward.
Oh
so
God,
crazy.
I know, that's got to be terrible.
So did you guys
ever
go ahead.
I was gonna ask if you guys ever fought with each other in your cliques.
We had one. I was actually just gonna ask you guys the same thing. I was like, did you guys ever have any battles? We used to joke around that we all the reason we got along so well was because we all had different tastes. Like we never had like the same crushes because we all just liked totally different people. And but we did have one friend who like joined our clique for a really long time, and then she kind of was disruptive in that way where we were all like, hey, I think she's flirting with that guy. Well, she's also flirting with that guy. And so that sort of like combusted at a certain point after high school, and then we just sort of drifted away from that one person, but the rest of us stayed sort of close. And then we had like most of our fights were like you go to a totally different college and you don't pay attention enough to me. So like all of our fights had to do with like not giving each other attention, or like we had stupid fights that I will say I my one friend was so good at if she was mad at you, she would like pull you aside and tell you why she was mad at you. And then if you said sorry and you genuinely meant it, she would be like, okay, and then move on. And I was like, oh, I learned how, like, how I learned how to have a healthy relationship with someone, where I was like, you like both say what you're upset about and then you keep talking and then you feel better. Like, what? It's like, that's not what happens in my house. So we, like keeping those friendships for so long, we are at the point where like we all get annoyed of each other still about certain stuff, but we're just like, that's that person, that's how they are. And then we work through like if it's anything that's actually serious. So it is funny how that friendship like informed us on how to behave in relationships, as far as like how to maintain a real friendship where you have conflict. Because I feel like in high school, a lot of times you have a conflict and you're like, and that's the end of that friendship. And we never had that issue.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys fight in your clique, or?
We had kind of the same thing. I remember a couple fights, and I think there were like 3 or 4 big fights. I think like 2 of us didn't talk for a little while or didn't talk much.
Yeah.
I didn't talk. Well, I never didn't talk to somebody, but I got in a fight with somebody like senior year. But it all like ended pretty quickly. And it is that thing, like when you've been friends with somebody for 20 years, like you just kind of like, I actually don't remember. Like I remember what stuff was about, but I like don't really care.
Yeah.
You just stop caring. You know, it's like there's a point, and I don't know when it is, that they stop being your friend and they start being family. And you're like, okay, well, I'm stuck with them for like at this point.
Yeah, it's like not an option.
Yeah, we're together for the rest of our lives. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. And so if somebody pisses me off, I should tell them. And then we figure it out and move on. But I think we got to that place like when we were still in high school where we were able to just like be like, well, this is it. Like we were, and I think it's because we were such a recognizable group. Like people, according to my friend Lizzie, we never like named ourselves a clique, right? Like people
Yeah.
started to notice that we were always together. And I think when that happens and you're just like our unit for that long, you just, I don't know, you just stop caring. And so now I can't even really remember anything bad that they've done.
Yeah.
Or that I've done.
No, it is funny. Like, I'm like, oh, I remember, like, I'm trying to think of like what we even fought about. And like we had one huge fight in our 20s because one girl, the quiet one, who I think like she loves going out, but I think she like does, I don't know, she just like she'll get like anxious about something and she just like doesn't want to go if she thinks someone might be mad at her. So it turned into this cycle of like she kept not wanting to go out, and then my one friend was super aggressive, and so she would like, if she like lied and said she had to do something instead of going out, she would be like I think we caught her out with another friend, and this was like we're in our 20s, like we're probably like 23 or something, and we caught her like downtown with another friend, and my one, for some reason, like it pissed me off, but I was just like, meh, like whatever, she obviously doesn't want to go out with us. And my one friend, it like bothered her so much that it like turned into a conflict for everyone, where they would be like, Katie, why do you like let her get away with not going out with us? And then, why don't you go out with us? The other one's like, why is she such a bitch to me about not going? You know, and it was like this whole thing where like we were all like irritated with each other. And I think we like, because we, once we graduated, we've never all lived in the same state even, or city since then. So I think it was like we kind of separated. And then, of course, you come like a year later, we're just like, drunk in a limo at a wine tour singing Leaving on a Jet Plane because someone's moving, and like we were like, I don't remember what we were mad about. So like
I'm gonna love you forever. Yeah. And I'm just like really sorry for anything I ever did. Oh, we had plenty of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Did you guys fight, Laura?
Yeah, I think like in high school the fighting was more one-on-one. Like I can remember some things like I remember something that like was the longest was probably like a school year of not talking, and then like we sort of built it back up, and we did build it back up afterwards. But I think in high school it's like a mix of like partially kids not knowing how to communicate, because I think like most of our arguing happened via notes. You know, like I don't think we sat together and hashed things out. But I also think that like people had experiences that I didn't know or understand, and so if there's like someone going through shit and I'm unaware of it, like or don't know how to process it or don't understand what she's trying to say, then like, you know, maybe I exacerbated it, or like I could have played a role in someone not feeling cared for, or not feeling like as good of a friend to them as I should have been being, based on my ignorance, you know. So there was like some of that, but there was no real like this person is not in our friend group anymore until post college. There were like a couple of those of like the council has spoken and this doesn't work anymore.
That's where I think, yeah, I think in your early 20s is when you start realizing like, oh, I don't have to be friends with people if they're like constantly causing conflict. And then you sort of do. I think in high school, it's easy to be like, there's so many people around in your immediate circle that you're like, oh, maybe that guy really was like flirting with her or like whatever. And then like in the case of that one friend, I remember my boyfriend was like, you just gotta like, I want you to know what she said. And I'm like, yeah. And literally I was just like, honestly, I just truly don't think you would ever do anything with her. So I know that she's being a shitty friend, but we've been friends for so long. And I was just like, I know nothing will happen. So yeah, I think that's shitty. But you know, we'll just move past it or whatever. And then something clicked where I was like, why are you putting up with that? Like, even though you know, I was just like, at a certain point, you got to let go of that loyalty to your friend and like move on.
The first time it happened, like I remember this, of course, was being hashed out over instant messenger, and
the best place
I
for discussion.
kind of gone into it knowing that like I was done, and which I had never come to that conclusion with a friend before, and this person was like, I'll like I'm not groveling, but like I think trying to make an amends, and I just remember being like, I actually don't want this anymore, and like how difficult it was to say that, and then reason with the fact that like I mean it, like I've been taught my whole life that like I'm not allowed to say that, but like this person is no longer adding value to my life and is in fact doing the opposite, and so to like have to be like, I'm good. Good luck with everything is weird at 22, but no takesy backsies. You know, I don't need it.
She's gone now.
Yeah. You're like, manager Laura,
and I think like when it gets to a point. This is your final written. No, I think like when you figure out you're not alone, like when other people are having these same thoughts, it's like, oh, this person is damaging this otherwise
that's what
functional
happened.
Group of people.
I think we all were like I think women. It's funny how people depict women as like hating each other, or not being good friends. I feel like a lot of times we would be like, can you just put up with it for the sake of the friend group? Like, you know what I mean?
I don't want to be a bitch. It's like, well, this person doesn't care and is actively being a shitty friend. So,
It is just crazy that you at 22 were like, oh, this is the first time I'm vocalizing what I want.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. That's truer to the women's experience than like, being catty with each other on purpose. Like I've never experienced that. Like, sure, women did shitty things to each other and they still do, and we still do. And, you know, we always have those moments, but like, that wasn't my experience. My experience was more of the like, I am going to put up with shit from everybody around me until someday I'm like, oh, why am I doing this? I'm tired. Why am I tired all the time? Oh, it's right. Because nobody cares about me.
It's me making bad choices.
Right.
You got some shit. I'll hold it for you. Yeah, shit. I'll hold it.
Bag.
I got
put it in my other people's shit bag.
No big deal. It is funny, but there are friends I don't talk to anymore from high school or college and all of that. And I don't know, I've had very few like, you're toxic bye. I tend to just be like, you're toxic, so I'm gonna ghost you.
I'm gonna disappear into the night.
You know me, I'm a Gemini, right? Unpredictable. Just, Sarah, I was moving to a new city and all that. But I haven't had that many. I've probably been toxic more. Again, I'm a Gemini, and for whatever reason, I think this group is just stuck forever. They just, even if there's toxic shit, even if we fought, it's just kind of been, I don't know what it is.
You just choose to deal with each other's shit. Like, you're just like, you know what? I actually, even when I am so irritated about something, I'll like go spend time with them, and I'm like, oh, I just fucking love you. Like, actually, I just feel at ease when I'm in a room with you, just like sitting with you. And we laugh really, really hard. And I think they're like, none of them are comedians, but they're so fucking funny. So to me, it's just like, oh, that's like, they're like normies that you can talk to the way you talk to comedians. And it's just so, I'm like, I don't even care that you're annoying or that I'm annoying. Like, well, let's just deal with each other's bullshit. Like, I'm going to talk about myself a lot. You're going to gossip a lot. You're going to brag a lot. And like, that's just what, you're not going to show up. And that's what we're going to be.
Yeah.
Those are our roles. We've established them.
There's actually a list.
Can you imagine being so funny and not needing everyone to know about it?
No.
Like that?
No, I literally can't. Wait, can you imagine being not so broken that you need to stand and tell people how funny you are? That's so crazy. Are these people medicated?
Can you imagine being enough?
No, Never once. Never once.
Can you imagine your dad loving you? Can you imagine that? I can't. I really can't. There is something freeing in the same way that I put up with their shit. There is something really freeing that like I think I'm a good friend, but like I am annoying significant, like maybe
and they put up with it
45% of the time. Right. And like you're stuck with me now, bitches. Like you are like I'm in the group chat. I named the group chat, okay? So like you're stuck with me now. Sorry.
Sometimes I think about like the qualities. Like I think about the qualities that go along with like an exasperated one of my friends going, I mean, but that's Laura, right? And I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
Oh no. Do you know how bad we are? Like my friend will have like she was like had it like an illness that she needed to address, and literally my other friend and I talked about her, and like it sounded like we were bitching about her, but we were literally like, well, you know she's not going to ask for help because that's how she is. She's super stubborn and she will never ask for help. So I need you to drive by there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to text her, and we're like we're talking shit about our friend to like come up with a plan of how to help our friend. Like we were like, we're like, I need you to drive by. This is what we're going to do. And like to get the one that never comes out. I'm like, you know, she never comes out. So I'm going to text her husband because that way he can't say no and come up. Like we literally work around our annoyances and to like maintain a friendship.
I've started
what a gift.
Like any of my pandemic cries that require calling someone, I'll always be like, thank you for listening, and I've been told to like stop saying thank you for that, and I'm like, right, but you know, like the alternative is an apology, which I know is worse. So let me
sorry
thank
for existing.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love it. So Sarah, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Sarah Garner Meow, and then you can listen to my podcast, which is Cheers for Queers.
And it's super funny. I've been listening to it.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Can I just close? I don't want to get too sappy, but I did want to just read like a quote of something that we texted today about. We talked about, I just feel like cliques are made to devalue women and devalue female friendships. And so I just wanted to read what one of my friends said about our friend group. And I love them to this day. They're my sisters. And so I just wanted to like read that, if that's okay.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. This is from my friend Lizzie.
Please.
Who was the first one that I met. And she said, for me at that age, it was a huge deal to have somewhere where I could be fully me and feel accepted. I also felt that I never fit in with any other crowd. I felt resented and alienated in normal classes because I was smart. I felt resented and lonely in honors classes because I had social skills. I felt lonely on dance team because I was strange and most of them were basic. The only place I ever felt fully safe was with you all.
Oh, that is so sweet.
And I just thought that was like sums up the way I feel about my little clique, no matter what happened. So
I love it.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So go get a clique.
Get a clique.
Get a clique. Find your
people. Get your whole clique to follow Sarah and listen to her podcast.
Yeah.
Get your whole clique to like and subscribe to our podcast and tell each other that you appreciate them. Each other.
Yeah. Just follow us on everything. Pinky Promise Pod at everything, basically. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can email us at pinkypromisepod@gmail.com if you have any crazy stories you want to share with us about your cool clique. And we will.
If you want us to be in your clique,
if you want us to be in your clique, I'm annoying. Laura follows the rules, so can you deal with those?
And I light up a group chat. Okay, I will light up your fucking group chat.
And Sarah, we'll put all your links in the show notes so you guys can click on them and follow Sarah. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This was such a joy. Love you guys. Maybe we can start a clique ourselves.
I was just going to say I'm going to make you guys be in a clique with me.
All right. Think of the name and we'll get t-shirts made.
Perfect. I'm like super hot bodacious 3. Except we're just brainstorming.
I don't know if you guys have name ideas, as long as super hot is in the title in here.
All right, everyone. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.